Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and a warm welcome to our webinar From Visibility to Value, MDO One View and SLA Dashboard in Action. I'm Piyu Mukherjee. I'll be your host for today. First things first, thank you for taking out time to be with us. We know that your inboxes are overflowing and your calendars are bursting, but we really appreciate that you have taken out this hour to join us for this webinar. Um, Let me set the stage with a thought. What do you think is the cost of making a decision with unreliable data? For many businesses, it's like driving blindfolded. You're driving into a wall. You may be driving forward, but you don't know if the decision is correct or not. At Prospecta, we believe that the power of your data is incredible. It deserves better than being silos and guesswork and dashboards which don't tell you the full story. That's why today is special. You are going to see how MDO One View will give you a 360-degree view of your world, your assets, your customers, your materials, all in one place. And then we'll show you the SLA dashboard, which helps you not just see your data, but trust it, measure it, and act on it in real time. We have with us today Akshay Singh, who will take us through a walkthrough of MDO One View and the SLA dashboard. Akshay is a seasoned product analyst with more than a decade of experience in solutioning and product development. He's worked extensively with SAP MDO and workflow automation, turning complex business challenges into a practical software solution. His specialty is translating big ideas into actionable roadmaps. And today, he'll show you exactly how OneView and SLA dashboard comes alive in practice. Welcome, Akshay. During this session, we will be keeping the audience on mute so that you get the best out of the walkthrough. The question answer is available on your top of your screen as a chat, and you are welcome to put in your questions during the session. We will be taking up some questions that I have, as well as some questions that we thought might be beneficial for you to know at the end of the webinar. But primarily, we will be focusing on any doubts that you have or any questions that you may want to ask Hi and Akshay at the end of the webinar. So with that, I welcome you all again once more to this webinar, and I hand over to Akshay to take us forward on this journey.
Thanks, Piyu. Thanks for setting the stage and the intro. Thanks everyone for joining in. Today's session would be more on an end-to-end journey from how you can analyze your data from a record perspective, get the one view of a specific record, and how that links with the performance or the end-to-end journey of a particular record creation or a change process. I'll be going through the system, but before we jump into the system, let's have a quick overview as to what MDO One View is, how and why are the value of MDO One View and task analytics comes in. I'll just share my screen to start with this. Okay, we'll be starting with One View. So to set the context, like we live in a data-centric world where managing master data often means dealing with multiple systems and a time-consuming lookup process, which creates silos and a slow decision-making process that reduces the confidence in data accuracy. That's where MDO One View comes in by providing you a single source of truth, a 360 view of your data, like such as materials, customers, vendors, with all the key dimensions like header data, plans, hierarchies, and the relationships with other datasets as well. All of that consolidated into one intuitive screen. This unified view helps organization making improve decision making by giving users all the relevant information in one place. It helps in boosting the productivity by reducing manual searches across different environments or different data sets and identifying the linkages. Furthermore, MDO OneView provides role-based visibility, ensuring the stakeholders. Uh, sorry, is there any message? No. Okay. Sorry. Providing the stakeholders like plant managers, data stewards, and the auditors see the information which is relevant to their role. Furthermore, it strengthens the trust in data quality through the built-in DQ matrix process which we have in MDO, which displays the overall data quality along with the dimension level scores for the selected record. MDO OneView helps organization move from fragmented visibility to actionable insights, ensuring data is always reliable, accessible, and ready for business decisions. Now, moving on to the task SLA. Now, we have data insights as a one part of the process, but being able to quickly and efficiently create or update data directly impacts how quickly a business can operate and respond to these market needs. Without visibility into task execution, the organizations often struggle with delays, missed SLAs, and hidden bottlenecks in their processes. Task Analytics or SLA dashboard provides a comprehensive view of task cadence, giving stakeholders a clear picture of how quickly and efficiently data is created and processed across the organization. This helps in highlighting stepwise, role-specific or process-specific task delays, and furthermore in monitoring the performance in real time, tracking open, pending, or completed tasks as they happen. The SLA dashboard also ensures SLA compliance, measuring tasks against the defined SLAs as per the workflows and enforcing accountability and process discipline. It furthermore gives you a trend analysis, enabling a continuous improvement initiatives and smarter decision making. In short, task analytics or SLA dashboard transform task execution into a measurable performance indicators, ensuring organizations can govern data operations with speed, transparency, and confidence. So yeah, that was a quick overview of what MDO, OneView, and Task Analytics are and how they help the organizations in improving their end-to-end processes. With that context in mind, we'll jump into the system and see these features in action. So for this particular session, I'll be working with the Material Master, where we have one view configured, displaying all the information for a specific record. Now, to start with, this is the landing page for every record. If you search, there's a search bar available where you can search for a specific PIDs or linked reference for other external systems as well. All of those fields can be utilized for searching any record on this particular page. From a widget perspective, MDO OneView gives you the description of this particular record, the selected record. If there is an image attached to that record, then it displays you what that particular material looks like, with some specific actions available. Like you can copy this record based on the flows and permissions assigned to the user. You can add some specific comments to communicate with other stakeholders who are working on the same role or working through the same set of materials. And then based on the permissions, there are furthermore actions available, like you can configure the views as to what specific outputs, what specific fields we need in this view, or to get into the detailed summary of this particular record, run through the process logs as to what changes, when and how these changes were done, what specific changes were done, and to go through the data quality to display that what different type of rules have been run when the record was created, when this record was changed, if there was any failure of a specific business rule. All that information is something which is displayed through the data quality logs. As for the configurational part, the initial view basically gives you a set of fields which are key fields which are available for going through your data. But the configure view, again, this is based on permissions, would provide you the option of defining what additional fields I want to add or remove in this data view of a quick view of a particular data, of a particular record, and even define whether they want to see the compliant and non-compliant information regarding this specific record or any of the record in this specific in this data set. Similarly, we have other options like you can assign which particular rule we want to run for checking the data quality, what different related data sets we want to assign here. Like we have a list of different data sets available which are linked to the material, what all we want to view as an output, what specific fields we want of the data sets to be available in the view to give a quick view, and the same for the org level structures as well. So this is a quick overview of the configurational part, or how quickly and easily the whole MDO one view can be configured. Now, starting with the data record, this particular widget provides you the basic information of that particular record as to the descriptions, groups, depending on the usage and how we want to view this information. And again, as was showed that we had the option of configuring this view as well. Furthermore, the compliant and non-compliant tabs provides you an option of visualizing what specific rules have passed, what specific rules have failed for this record, and so that as a user, I know what are those fields or the rules where I need to fix my data to improve the data quality. The change request widget gives you then end-to-end tracking of how many CRs or how many change requests are currently running for or in progress for this particular record, for this particular material, and how many requests are being completed. We can click on the hyperlinks to see when these changes were done, by which user the changes were done, and from a process perspective, see the end-to-end cycle of the workflow against which the records have been created, depending on which flow we are using, because for a creation there could be n number of different flows which we can use, or for the change process as well. As for the similar records, this is the duplicate check process, where we can define on a set of fields, like based on my material group or my short description, I can define that what other records are available in the system which are duplicate on, and to what extent. There could be a different set of fields, so it gives you a match percentage as to what is the match, how much records are matching, and then you can take in furthermore actions of either changing the data or marking these records as for deletion or for deactivation. Those type of actions, something which can happen through the similar record widget. Moving on to the data quality one. Now, that's an interesting one, because this MDO focuses on data quality and governance, and we have our inbuilt DQ data quality process, where you can define different set of rules, different type of rules within a set of dimensions, like we have accuracy, completeness, consistency, and other more. So using these disciplines, using these dimensions, we can have different set of rules assigned, and based on those rules, we can get the overall DQ score or the dimension level score for each and every record. So to quickly explain how these matrices work, I'll just show you the definition or the configurational part of these DQ matrices. Now, when we are working with a particular master, on like here in material master, we can see we have a set of around 84 rules defined here, and 3 different matrices. One set for compliance based on different set of rules, and then one for the overall data quality. Now, in the configurational part, you have again, this is based on permissions, but the data stewards will have an option of adding different business rules, and every business rule has its own dimensions defined by uniqueness, consistency, or timeliness, and so on. And as and when the user keeps on adding these rules, the rules will fall into the defined categories. Like we can see, we have 3 different rules for validness assigned here, one for timeliness, and so on and so forth. Now, the logic of how we get these scores, these dimension level scores and the overall scores is all dependent on the definition of this matrix. Every dimension which we have is a cumulation, is cumulates to a total of 100. It could be 3 rules, it could be 1 rule, or depending on, it could be 10 different rules, depending on how we want to analyze this within a particular DQ matrix. So you can see that these three different rules cumulate to a total of 100, and the validness overall gives a 17 score to the overall DQ score. So if any of these rules or all these three rules fail for a particular record, my overall DQ score would reduce by 17. That's how the DQ matrix was, and that's how I can see the output in the one view. Now, since we have multiple matrices assigned here, and initially we are seeing that for a specific matrix, what my output is, there is a option to switch between the available matrix and see the output for different DQ matrices, for different level of analysis as to how my data is performing. So this is how the DQ output or the data quality checks can be done. We can identify if there's a failure in my completeness, if there's a less score for completeness, then as a I'll see what particular rules have failed, falling into the non-compliant set of records, and then the user can start a change request process to fix that data. So that's how a quick analysis can be done from a DQ perspective. Moving on, as we have the list of change requests available, open and closed, the recent activity tab shows you that when this particular CR was initiated, by which particular user, when it was approved, and different change request processes initiated, when these requests were initiated and approved. All of this that is available in a timeline manner. Furthermore, we have an option of viewing the critical data elements. So that's a concept basically of analyzing your key fields. From a data perspective, there are certain fields, if those fields are changed, they have a big downstream impact, or those are like the mandatory fields. If they are not available or are not filled correctly, that can cause issues throughout the other systems as well. Like we had one of the customers where we implemented the CDE scenario, and the data was provided by the vendors, and a set of rules were defined with the CDE fields. If any of these rules were failing where the CDE fields were allocated, the record was not sent further to the other downstream environments, other external systems, and a report was generated based on which the data stewards would work with the vendors for getting the correct information, for making sure the vendors provide the correct information. Like you have the contract ID for an asset. If a incorrect contract ID is provided, or if the contract ID is missing, then it becomes a challenge how this asset would be maintained. So those type of information or those type of checks were applied within MDO, and MDO works as a stop gate process where you first have to fix these critical elements and then move forward to the other environments. So we maintain a good data quality and overall reduce the impact in other environments or the other external systems where the data has been flown. In our last session, we did discuss about Kai, our AI engine, which is now which helps us in fixing these challenges. As you are creating the data, it'll using Kai, you can fill in the information. Kai would instantly let you know that where the issues are, which particular rules are failing, and give you suggestions to fill in the data. So that's how MDO, OneView, and Kai kind of works together to give you the errors and then help you in fixing that information as well. Attachments is the list of all the attachments you have for this. They could be one or multiple fields where the documents were related to this particular material have been attached, would all be listed down here, and would give you the information as to by whom these records or the attachments have been uploaded. And by click of this, you can download these attachments into your local system. So these are the above first 4 to 5 widgets, which gives you a very detailed view of how my data quality is, how many records are change requests are currently going on, if I have some similar records or duplicates record available, how the compliance is working, and then we move into the linked or the related data sets or the org level structures. So as you can see, from when you come onto a particular record, you view the information. everything, be it related data sets, be it the end-to-end journey of change and creation process of that particular record, how the data quality is, all of this is available on a single page. The user doesn't have to go to different data sets or different systems to get the information or identify the linked records, search for those reference data sets and identify what records are linked here. Um, Furthermore, from a and these particular rated data sets is again configurable depending on the requirement, depending on the analysis level of analysis we want to do. We can add more data sets here. We can define the set of fields which we need for a quick analysis. And furthermore, we can click on the summary view of this record to get further more details, to get a detailed understanding as to what information was filled for this particular linked record. And similarly, you have the org level structures where you can see for which particular plans this has been extended to, what are the evaluations, and if you need to extend this on further more plans, then you have a quick action button to click on the change request option and select a specific flow for extend the material, or if it is not the valid record from the list of some duplicate records you have identified, then deactivate this particular material. So all of the actions from creating a new record, copying this data, performing changes, analyzing the open request, analyzing the data quality, and getting the information regarding the related data sets. All of this is available on one particular page without losing the context of base record. You can perform different actions. You can move into different data sets and gather the all the information from one particular page. So yeah, that's a quick overview of how MDO one view is a single source of truth where you get everything about your master data in one place: the records, its quality, the changes, connected objects, and it eliminates the need for scattered lookups and gives you a 360 perspective to make a faster and more confident decisions. Now, while OneView helps us see the data in complete, I think we have a question.
We have a question, Akshay, on OneView. Is it live and available for the users? From a product perspective, is it available generally, or is this a feature that is going to come up in the roadmap?
So yes, this is a feature already available, and we can from an MDO perspective, we have the features as feature flagged. So from every customer perspective, once the features have not been marked as GA, they can be activated on the specific customers ask and need, and we can turn this on. So this is live and available for utilization. Yes.
Thank you, Akshay. Are we going to move on to the second part of the
Yes.
walkthrough?
Yeah, I'll continue. So yes, like one view gives us the complete context, but the next question is how efficient is the data which is being created and maintained? And that's where task analytics or SLA dashboard comes in. Let's move in to see how the task performance is analyzed, and how do we identify the bottlenecks and drive a continuous improvement. So in task section, we have multiple tabs like from inbox, my task, and all of these. The inbox gives you a list of all the tasks from a flow perspective of which this user has been part of. And my task gives you a list of all those, segregate those lists into a scoped list where the requests have been claimed by the user, then in progress records which are still ongoing, probably approved by the user, but still pending with some other steps. All that information can be tracked from the in progress tab. And the completed tab gives you the list of all the processes for different data sets for which the user has permission. They can see how many, what task list of what change requests have been completed, and when these were completed. All of this information accumulates together into a all task, which is then taken in and massaged to generate the task analytics. Now, in task analytics, this is a uh, pre-configured view. Yeah, the users don't have to get into the system to start defining their data sets, their widgets, or select the specific data sets or something. As in when you start working in the system, you start creating records, or you start creating change requests. The all these widgets will get populated as in when we are working through change request, or working through the tasks. Now, the first three widgets gives you the total number of requests which we have in the system, how many of them of those requests are open, how many have reached SLAs, and then furthermore segregation based on their statuses as to whether the records have been sent for corrections, or they're waiting for approval, or if there's some errors with those set of records. Using this information, you have a timeline graph which gives you the information as to what's my SLA met versus breached from a monthly perspective. Now, here we can see for the last 6 months, from April to June, we had a 100% SLA met, but in July, there was a small number of records which did not meet SLA. And with the improvement by September, we can see that again, we have reached to the level of 100%, but there was some inconsistencies during these 2 months. So that's where we can do an analysis from a steward perspective, that why there was some issues during these 2 months, and how they have been fixed to bring it back to 100% in September. The SLA met versus breached graph gives you further options to view the information, just not from a 6 month perspective, but to a 12 to 2 years perspective as well. Um, so that we have a longer view of analysis as to for a bigger period as well, depending on how the user wants to view their data, or analyze the change requests which are running through the system. The open task by roles. So this helps the users, or the stewards, to understand from a role perspective which particular role has how many tasks assigned to them, how many open tasks which they have, irrespective of the task being breached or being met. It gives you the information from a role perspective, which particular role has maximum number of tasks assigned. Like we can see in this particular view, we have the reviewer which has a maximum number of tasks assigned to them. So that gives us an insight that probably there is a sudden influx of records of the change requests happening from a reviewer perspective. Probably that's where we need to put more effort and focus, so that this doesn't become a SLA breach process and doesn't land into escalations. So this graph gives you a real-time view of how different roles are performing, how many tasks they have, how where more focus or more resourcing is required. Further drilling down on from the role level, we have the user level information. This is something which helps in providing trainings, or matching the KPIs, like which gives you the information of our best turnaround times, the worst turnaround times, and giving the list of users who are performing very good, and where these challenges are. So this is something which helps in from the manager's perspective to analyze where there might be more training required for these users, or identify what challenges the users are facing, so that that can be rectified. And on the same lines, we have the send for correction widget as well, which gives you a list of records from a user perspective, which are being sent for correction. And from here, we can check with for apply the filters. I'll go into the detailed view as well and show you how you can apply the user level filters, or row level filters, to analyze from where the maximum number of records are going for are sent for correction, basically, or have been rejected from a particular step. So so we can identify in which particular flow more improvement is required, or whether some changes are required in this particular process, or in a specific process or not. So that's what these three specific widgets help you with. I think while I was speaking, there were a few more questions which came in.
Yeah, Akshay, we have one question which is very specific. That is there an option in the task analytics to download the SLA reports in Excel?
Yes, we have an option. I'll show that one. Yes, so all these widgets basically have an option to expand expansion view. So if I click on the detailed view, it will give you a side sheet where you have all of this information available from what's the CR record number, from which data set or flow this belongs to. And then you can furthermore apply the filters if you're looking for a specific role or a specific flow. And then you have an option to download this into a CSV file as well.
Thanks, Akshay. We also have a question which is not so much product, but it's more about how can we help our customers configure such a feature into their systems, and are the SLAs configurable for customers and excluding weekends? Now that's a very, very specific question which has come up. So do we want to take this right now?
Yeah, sure. Yes, the configurational part, I'll take that one first. This is a pre-configured view available where the user don't need to do any kind of configuration. You just have to get into the system and start running your change request process or record creation process, and the widgets will get populated in real time. So there's no manual configuration required to achieve this output. Whereas for the defined SLAs from a flow perspective, yes, in MDO, we have the option of for every step within a flow, we can define the SLAs of 2 days, and or furthermore, depending on how we want to run the process, we have the option of defining the SLAs as well. I hope that answers the queries.
Yeah, thank you so much, Akshay. I think these were the two questions right now. We can continue with the walkthrough.
Sure. Yeah. So once we have gone through the overview of the task as to how many open tasks are there, what the breaches are, and how my data is performing over the period of time, then we can get into the furthermore analysis into the specific areas. To start with, we have the cumulative monthly view, which gives you the information that on a monthly basis, how many records have been created, how many records have been closed, and till date, how many open CRs are there. So let's say in the month of July, if we have 1340 is the list of open change requests. So that's where basically, irrespective of when these requests were created, these tasks were created, they are still open, and that's how the total count comes down to this number for a specific month. The SLA average line, which we see here, this helps us in understanding that what's the average SLA from a monthly view. From an organization perspective, basically, we want to see that the SLA timelines are stable or reducing, so that we have a efficient process running and there are no delays. But if there's a spike in the average SLA, that's where the managers and the stewards want to see why there's a spike happening, and that's where the fixes would be required. So this specific graph gives you the monthly information of how many requests are being created, changed, and are still open, with the average SLA for every month, where we can and to do furthermore analysis on this, why there is a spike happening and where some intervention is required or some improvement is required. So once we have the overall view, there are furthermore options to get into the details of this, like perform a flow analysis, where it gives you the information as to which particular flow, how many requests are there, if where the breaches are happening, if my average SLA is increasing or my average SLA is decreasing. That type of information is something which is available from the flow analysis. So from a detailed view, from a timeline perspective, we can jump onto a specific flow view and see where the improvements are happening, where the delays are happening, and where we need to focus more. And then we can get into the role level analysis as well, to identify how many requests are coming for a specific role, whether the SLAs are improving, or are there some challenges in the overall process. Like for the reviewer, we saw earlier, has the maximum number of tasks assigned to them, and their average SLA has started increasing. So that gives us a view that, okay, the number of requests are increasing, and since the resources assigned or the users assigned to this role are having problem, because we can see the average SLA is increasing. So that's where, from an organization perspective, we'll focus and look into improving this particular process, so this number starts decreasing. So that's the type of analysis from a flow and role level perspective we can get. Even we can further drill down into this onto a data set level as well. And we can see from on each and every data set that what's my average SLA, minimum SLA, where the breaches have happened, how many requests have been created, new requests have been created or changed for every data set, and visualizes this information. So this gives you an overall picture of how task analytics gives the analysis overall view of your all the tasks. Of course, there is an option you can filter on specific data sets or multiple data sets depending on the requirements, or like for roles or users. All of these filters are available to filter the data furthermore, and even get into the detailed view of any of these widgets. All of these widgets basically link to open up the detailed view, where again you have the options of applying the specific filters. Probably you're looking for material master, and from there, furthermore, I want to just look for the specific flow in the process. Then I can apply those filters, view this information, and then download this into a CSV file for further usage within the organization.
Actually, on the
Sorry.
CSV file,
Yeah.
we have another question that the download CSV option is currently not showing up in the Task Analytics UI. What we are seeing on screen might not be what is being seen on screen by our customers. So, is this something that's in the roadmap, or it's going to come through, or we can just raise a ticket in case it's not visible?
So yeah, in the particular customers, if they have enabled task analytics like a month back or so, they wouldn't have the option because this is something which we have recently developed, and a request can be raised to get this download option enabled in their environment.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think we have addressed all the questions that are there currently. Akshay, anything more with the walkthrough, or should we shift focus on more product strategy and roadmap?
Yeah, from a walkthrough perspective, yeah, these are the all the features available as of now in the system, and yeah, you can see this couple of things which we have developed already are being displayed here. But yeah, we can from a walkthrough perspective, we can now move on to the product strategies part. Yes.
Yeah. So, Akshay, I mean, I can see how beautifully both the features that we have discussed today sort of complement each other. And, this is something I'm sure is going to be one of the key features for the senior decision makers of the organization. That being said, these are features which are new and which are under development also. In a way, we are still taking usability feedback. So what's in the roadmap ahead for these features?
Sure. Yeah. Since we're on task analytics, I'll start with that. So one, you already saw the option where we have the download option coming up. Furthermore, we are enhancing the detailed view. So one option is that yes, you can download this into a CSV file, but as of now, you see that there's a list of fields already available here. But we are improving this furthermore to give an option to add more system fields like stepwise time taken, total time taken, or a flow-wise time taken. Those system fields is something which would be available, like due date or modified by, all those fields which help in analyzing from where the request initiated, how the request is progressing, and get the overall TATs. That information is something which we are building and would be available for the customers. Furthermore, we would be improving the view where you can have the option to filter on every field available here to filter to scope down the data, and the CRIDs and the record number is something which you would be able to click on and get the detail. So that's how the one view links with task analytics, because the record numbers is something which would be a hyperlink, and when you click on this hyperlink, it would open up the one view of the specific record. And the CRIDs would display you the specific changes which were done in this particular CR for a specific record. So basically, Task Analytics gives you the what changes have been done and the full view of that particular record from an MDO one view perspective.
So, from a change request perspective, since we were discussing that, uh, can I initiate a change request directly from OneView?
Yes, if you jump into one view, we have the option of, based on the permissions assigned, you have a direct option of initiating any change request, and you'll get a list of flows based on the permissions available or the flows assigned to the user. You would get the option to raise a change request.
Right.
And
And
while on this
uh,
page,
yeah,
sorry,
go on.
while on this
I had
page,
one more
we
question, but please go on, Akshay.
Yeah, from the enhancement perspective, this is also something which we are working on improving. Furthermore, that the views are there, and we would be adding more widgets into this, like the classification data. So you can see the related information coming for all your data sets, all your hierarchies, and then we are furthermore introducing the classification information, the taxonomy information as well, which would give you the information from your local taxonomy. And then we have a further roadmap planned where we would be giving you the option of analyzing the data against the external taxonomy as well, like CFOS, E-class, and those analysis would be available. That's the future plan, the roadmap for OneView.
Right. So we are sort of tying together a lot of other exciting features that are coming through, and data quality, of course, is primary over here. So I understand how, it's important for us to, sort of tie that together. Now, when we're talking about data quality and data consistency, if we have multiple source systems for data, different kind of legacy apps are there. Does OneView ensure consistency if we are pulling in data from multiple systems?
Yes, yeah. OneView is basically built on the MDO integration layer, which basically brings the records from all the other environments, all the other source systems combined together, and those records are available to generate the view within MDO. So yes, we have integration layer behind MDO OneView to give the overall information from different dataset perspective as well. Yes.
Thank you for that. Audience, any questions from your side? I have a couple of questions for Akshay, but I can take a pause in case anybody wants to ask anything. You're please welcome to put it in the chat. And while the audience is thinking about the questions, um, well, Akshay, how scalable is OneView for high volume data sets? You took example of material master today. So a high volume data set, how scalable is OneView for us?
Yeah, so OneView runs on the base design of the system of MDO platform, which is designed for optimized search. We have indexing and caching done in the background, so you have a quick searching and analysis of the data, even with the larger data sets. So there's a fast retrieval of information, drill down of the data, even with the higher volume from different environments or for any of the data sets. Yes.
Right. Well, thank you for that. I remember seeing in your walkthrough, we saw roles and permissions, and we saw the filters that we can, specifically the permissions that we can allow to a particular role. So, does OneView support role-based visibility? For example, I mean, based on the position of a person, if there's a plant manager, will they see data relevant only to their plant?
Correct. Yes. So MDO has a feature of defining roles and permissions. So during the configurational process or the process or the project initiation process, we define that what specific permissions would be available, what data sets would be available, or what specific filters would be applied for us for a role, and that is throughout the system, which includes one view as well as the task analytics. So you would be only viewing the relevant information from a user perspective and not getting bombarded with everything to filter down and work through it.
I know that's the idea. And also, whenever we talk about data governance, and when we are talking about MDO having a very strong compliance layer, how does OneView tie to audits and compliances?
That's a good one. So yes, like we can see in one view, it gives you the full history of when and how this record was changed, even tagging with the CD information. And then you have the option of viewing the process logs furthermore, and which gives you the overall information when this record was changed, by which user it was changed, and all the steps within that particular process, and even the option to see what changes were done by the user. So this is basically the compliance process of showing you the audit history and tracking down every field level changes done by the users through a particular process.
All right, that looks interesting. Um, and also, uh, can I see relationships? For example, we took the example of material master. So, can I see which finished goods or bombs are linked to a particular material? Can I see relationship status in one view?
Yes, yes. So the related data set, like we have currently in this one, shown you the three different data sets, and it's giving you that this particular spare part record is linked with three of the HERS records, and then there are five different purchase info records. But furthermore, if we have reference or child data sets in different other data sets as well, that's something which can be added and configured to even show more data sets as well. To give a quick view of that, if you get into the configurational part and I want to see the related data sets, that's something I have the list of all other linked data sets which are available, and I can even further decide what set of fields I want to display in the output from an overall view perspective without getting into the detail of each and every record.
Well, thank you so much, Akshay. Thanks for that. When I introduced Akshay, audience, this is for you. I said that he has extensive knowledge of MDO and extensive knowledge of SAP. This is a little SAP specific question, Akshay. Um, how is one view different from the traditional SAP material master display?
Okay, yeah. So in the legacy systems, like in SAP, you have to go through different transactions. Like for Material Master, there would be MM03 transaction, which you have to go and analyze the data, and then there are different other transactions available for looking for vendor master or the linked data sets. Um, and but in one view, that's the difference. You don't have to switch between different transactions and or to view view the linked information. All of this is available on the same page. You don't have to switch between data sets and in MDO to get that information. Unlike the SAP has transactional different transactions, so that's something which we take away and bring everything together into one page.
Thank you so much for that, Akshay. Right. I think we've discussed most of the points that I had in mind. Let's shift towards task analytics and SLA dashboard. And let's try and understand this a little better. How real time is the SLA dashboard?
Yeah, it's near real time. So as in you are creating the request, once the request have been submitted in the system, the same gets synced back into the Elastic servers which you have in the background for displaying the data. So it's near real time view of the data. So from a user perspective, basically once you have raised the request, by the time you switch to task section, you would be seeing that information.
That sounds fantastic. And yeah. Next question. So, can SLA matrix vary by process or object type?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, from a process perspective, there are different ways we want to work upon. Like, if I'm working with material, there could be specific finished goods which I want to, get them approved or processed quickly. So they would have different SLAs. But while I'm working on probably in a vendor master, that it would require a multiple level of approvals. So, and it could be external approvals as well required. So that's where we would need more. The team would need more to understand. So yes, they can define the SLAs for specific flows or specific data sets within the flows. On every step, they have the option of defining the SLAs. It could be anything from minutes to days, depending on the requirement. Yes.
Thank you so much for that. Well, how does the system prevent gaming the SLA matrix? I mean, users closing tasks without actually fixing data.
Sorry, I didn't get this last one.
How does the system prevent gaming the SLA matrix? Users closing tasks without actually
Yeah.
fixing the data.
So that is a part of the process. Like in the task analytics, you have the set of records available, and we saw how it's on a specific step assigned to a user, and on every step, from a system perspective, from a flow perspective, we can assign a set of rules or validations. So like if there are a set of CD fields or the critical data elements available, we can set the rules that if these specific information is not provided, then the system won't allow you to mark those tasks as completed, and without getting that approved. So even if the initiator starts the process with bare minimum information and the record move to the approver, there would be an approval process in the flow which would make sure that the relevant or the required information is there before the task gets completed.
Right. That makes sense. Um, I missed one question which was there, in our thoughts earlier. Um, when we talk about OneView, we missed discussing whether OneView can integrate with downstream analytic tools like Power BI or Tableau, which are also commonly in use.
Yeah. I mean, yes, we can provide this information. I can expose APIs or connectors to have this available in Power BI and other dashboards. That's possible, yes.
Is it recommended?
I mean, honestly, since we pretty much have all the information here, so I would suggest that if there's some feedback, we are happy to take that feedback and enhance it furthermore. But I think from a process perspective, if the system gives you ample of information, I wouldn't recommend going somewhere else and getting that
I thought so.
information. Yes.
I thought so. But yeah, just to get that clarity out. One more question. Can SLA dashboard insights be exported or integrated into enterprise reporting platforms? It's sort of similar to what we discussed right now with OneView.
Yeah, it's on the similar lines. Yes, I mean there are two options. You can either download the data into a CSV file and use this as an input to some other tools, or yes, we can provide the APIs to again expose those APIs from task analytics perspective and give that information, the raw data, which can be further down used in other environments as well. Yes.
I have a question in the chat, which sort of links to the previous question I asked you right now. Is it required to have SAP CPI to connect to Power BI or Tableau?
For the integration purposes, you would need a connector, yes, to send the information. But I think for sending this information for Power BI would have its own connectors where we can give the information. But I think I will have to be very clear on this one. I'm not 100% sure that for the CPI we might not require this one for the Power BI, but for other tools, in specific scenarios, yes.
Right. Well, hope I have answered. We have managed to answer, Nilesh. A couple of more questions, Akshay, and we are very close to the end time. Uh, Beyond SLA compliance, can task analytics show process improvement trends?
Yes, correct. So as we went into task analytics and we had the view of how my data is moving from a monthly basis for every role, specific inputs, that's the trend analysis which we have from an overall perspective, and furthermore from a role perspective of showcasing that how my trend is working for every role that on a monthly basis. I can see that for every role, whether the number of records breached and number of records met is decreasing or increasing. So that information, and we can even further filter this to a data set level or to a flow level to get that information. So yes.
Well, thank you so much for that, Akshay. And with that, we have come almost to the end of our meeting. We have one more question regarding the connector. I think Nilesh is very keen to know that which connector is used in Power BI and Tableau, which connects directly to MDO.
I think that's more on the integration team. We can get back onto you this one, Nilesh, and get the information from the integration team as to what connectors are required, and we can come back on this one. Yes.
Thank you so much for that. And Nilesh, we'll be sure to get back to you on this question. Uh, and All right, with that, we come to the end of the questions that I had, and we still have a couple of minutes if the audience has any questions. And Akshay, thank you so much for giving us this walkthrough. We've had a very clear understanding of both the MDO One view as well as task analytics features of MDO. For those of you who have joined us for the first time, we have information about these features coming to you in our product newsletters, which are quarterly. So we had one sent out to all of you in the month of July. Hope you got that. And the next one should be coming to you in October, which will have more details about all the new features that are coming through, things that have a high business impact, and things that can make using MDO easier for you. So, and apart from that, there's a lot of information available for you to read and access on the Health Center. I have in the chat itself posted the link of the features page of the Health Center if you want to access it directly. Else, it is a very easy access through our website, and you can reach out to us directly as well if you need information about any particular feature or any particular roadmap item that you are interested in. So, yeah, with that, we come to the end of our webinar. Thank you so much, Akshay, for giving us this walkthrough and keeping us engaged in the entire journey of understanding MDO One View and task analytics.
Thank you.
Thank you, audience, for joining us. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks everyone. Thank you. Bye.